Hey guys, it's John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. Welcome to IFWL, Inspirations for Your Life. If you're new to IFWL, well, I'm going to ask you to grab your smartphone, launch your camera app, point it over to that QR code, click on the yellow ellipse, and you'll see my link tree. Lots of great information to improve the quality of your life. That's John's Daily National Date video. You got JCM Academy Serial Entrepreneur. You got TikTok on there. You've got the Inspirations for Your Life show. You've got John the Science Guy. And you got so many other great things. So definitely check that out. All right. And thank you so much for popping in. I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. And I also want to thank our friends, colleagues, and wonderful associates for coming back, for being here so many times, supporting me, and soaking up all this great Kool-Aid and really living and believing in it. It means a lot to me that all of you are here, and hopefully some of the new people become loyal, just like all of you have been for such a very, very, very long time. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you. Shall we get to our master topic? Yes, Maestro. Let's get to it. What's AVK? So, auditory, visual, and kinesthetic. Now, yesterday, we had another conversation about patterns of the brain. Our brain actually goes into a pattern state more than you would think. And to kind of explain that, I want to share something called the yes pattern. What is the yes pattern? So they sometimes call it the yes ladder. You might have heard this before. So the yes ladder is building commitment and consistency as we go up the ladder. Okay. For example, a salesperson may reach out to a prospect and say, this is such and such street, right? Customer says, yes. We're still in such and such town, right? Yes, we are. And you probably say you've got about, 8 to 12 windows on this house. Is that about right? Yes. And your phone number is starting with area code. Yes. Great. Like I said, we have people in the area all day tomorrow giving free estimates. You'll be here around the same time tomorrow, or will somebody in time later in the day work for you? Yeah, tomorrow's fine. So what they did is they primed you with a yes ladder. So how does this work? The key to a successful yes ladder is momentum. You generate momentum by getting your prospect to answer yes. Okay. During your prospect's research, you're able to find something that works. And then you make the big asks. So what will your yes ladder be? Let's talk a little bit about that. Maybe you're asking someone to go on a date with you. And, maybe you're at a school. This is Mr. Hunt's classroom. Yes. This is biology class. Yes. And class does start at 10. Yes. And none of us are prepared for this, are we? So you want to ask questions that are going to lead to that yes. And I guess it'd be a truthful statement to say that we are all not ready for this test, right? Yes, we're not ready. So you keep building momentum. Maybe you're trying to get someone to volunteer for you. So you might say, you are still enrolled. You are still in high school. Yes. And you do like helping others. Yes. And you have helped others in the past. Yes. And your friends have told you that helping is a great way to get credit on your, let's say your school project for your resume. Yes. And you want to feel good about helping others. Yes. And I have the form right here, so you can just fill it out. Tell us which times you'd like to volunteer, and we'll get signed up, okay? Yes. Now, you just built that whole pattern, and the thing you have to realize is that if you ever get a no, the conversation is done. It is over. So, what a lot of salespeople will do is they build that momentum. Now, I know I had a prospect, and he was asking me a question, but I took a different approach. I didn't build the yes ladder, I built the no ladder. I'm like, you know, and it's expensive, and it may not be for you. You may not need fast internet. You might be happy going slower than dial up. And when you say that, just shut up. Then what's going to happen is they're going to come back and ask you to quote something. And then they're probably going to ask you to give them an invoice. And then they're probably going to tell you, you know what? I don't want to do it. It's out of my budget. Okay. Thanks so much. We'll avoid the invoice. And then don't say anything, because in a day or less than that, they're going to come back and say, you know what? I'm just going to do it. You see, when you have a momentum built, I don't care if it's in a race, if it's in a rapport building, or if it's in a class, you start this yes ladder. And when the yes ladder starts, you get an incredible amount of dopamine. So there's something called the 3 yes technique. So you ask people a few questions where the answer is easy to answer, yes. Then you tag on the question at the end, which you really want the answer to be yes. So let's try this, okay, for example. So let's say you're in the business of selling, I don't know, sprinkler systems. And you can go out to the person's house and say, this is 222 Fairlawn Avenue in Clifton, New Jersey, correct? Yes. And your lawn definitely needs water. Yes. And you've just spent a fortune putting sod in today. Yes. And you want to make sure your lawn is as green as it can be without dying. Yes. And that's why it makes sense for us to talk about putting in a sprinkler system for you so that you can preserve that great investment you put into the sod. Yes. Great. We can do it tomorrow at 3 or Monday at 2. Yes. And you can just give us a 50% deposit. Yes, 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 yes. And before you know it, you just bought a sprinkler system. Now that sounds bizarre, doesn't it? I have a question for you. How many no's before a yes in sales? 4. 92% of salespeople give up after 4 no's, but 80% of the prospects say no 4 times before they actually say yes. So what turns a no into a yes? That's magic. It's to avoid confrontation or an argument. You want to present yourself as being on the same side as the person and looking to convince them in a word of choice that can influence them. Like in my situation, when this investment was a few $1,000s, and I said, I understand. I didn't want you to have to put out extra money if what you have is working. But the next time you do have a problem and you call us, we're not going to help you for free, because your network's going to go down. And it's only a matter of time before not only will it go down, but it won't ever come back up again. And you plant these seeds in people's heads. And you're not doing it to be mischievous. You're not doing it to be deceitful. You're being honest. We all know the marketing rule of 7, right? States that a potential customer must see a message at least 7 times before they'll be provoked to take any action. What's the number 1 rule in sales? The number 1 rule in sales is not to sell or not to come out as trying to sell. You want to educate them. So when somebody doesn't want to do something, The old me many years ago be like, "Oh, you have to take it." Now you know what I do? I'm like, "Okay, we'll just void the invoice later on today if it's not paid, and um, you can use what you have." Or another sale goes by, and you don't ask them for the order. You just tell them, "Look, this is what we have, and stock is kind of low. If you get an order in by tomorrow, we'll be able to deliver this month. If not, we're just going to have to wait till after New Year's," which I'm sure isn't a problem. And I'm like, "Oh, wow." So now you didn't force them, but you told them the truth, and now they're suddenly concerned. So how do you take no in sales? No. Salespeople get slapped with rejection on no daily. Don't let no be the end of the road. Find out why the person said no. Could be something like, John, I'm really not interested in sprinkler systems. Mike, I have to tell you, before I got into this business and started selling sprinkler systems, I had a problem with my lawn. And my family was going to kill me because I kept not being able to water the lawn. I was always so busy and we had such a large property. And it was the end of the month, and I had spent thousands of dollars on sod. It was a really hot summer. And all of a sudden, guess what? The sod died. I didn't want anybody to know that even happened. Luckily, the family was all away. I went and put all new sod in. Before I did that, I called the local sprinkler company that I had an estimate from and said, "Could you please come out and put the system in? I don't want to lose my sod for the third time." You see, when somebody has pain, they want a solution. But if somebody doesn't want a solution, don't be negative and say, "Well, gee, you better do this." You don't have to do anything. Brian Tracy said something. "Sell unto others as you would have them sell unto you." A successful sales professional uses the golden rule to sell with the same honesty, integrity, understanding, empathy, and thoughtfulness they would like someone to use in selling them. But remember, we don't want to be sold to, we want to be educated. And then it's really our choice to make the decision about wanting to do that. Because the thing, like I was telling you about the sod situation, I knew that we needed to put sprinklers in. So now, as I told that story about, I said to him, now, and I got, had them come and put the sprinklers in. "So that's amazing." I said, "Yes. I just have one question for you." He says, "Yeah. How many times have you lost sod?" I said, "Oh, John, I've lost sod at least half a dozen times." "And how much money have you spent having to keep a green lawn?" 20, 30, $40,000, probably more. And what you've spent in 4 times to replace your sod, in just a tenth of that, you could have had sprinklers. And not only could you have sprinklers to water your lawn, but also include in that to take care of those flower pots that you have all around your property. And they're going to look at you and they're going to be like, "Yeah, I know." And so you're tired of replacing sod, aren't you? Yes. You're tired of all the money it's costing you to replace sod. Oh, yes. You're tired of all the aggravation it causes you. Yes. And you're tired of people saying to you, "You're replacing your sod again." Oh, if I hear that again, I'm going to scream. And that's why today you want to get that new sprinkler system, don't you? Yes. Great. You see how that worked? But if I was not going to be sincere and I was going to try to stuff them like, "Okay, well, if you don't get a sprinkler system, then your lawn's going to die." You see, if I don't have a little bit of empathy for you, if I don't talk about the problem, the reason why hospitals are so busy is because they stop people's pain. But the reason why some hospitals don't work out well is because they throw the pain back in people's faces. What you have to do is be more nonchalant. Well, you're having something that's uncomfortable today. I understand. Are you looking to get out of being uncomfortable? No, not really. Okay. Take care. Have a good day. Or, oh, yes, I can't wait. And let them push themselves through the rest of the way. Don't you do that. So, yes, and patterns are very similar to the AVK. They're language patterns that cause us to interrupt what we're doing and make a split decision. I think that's amazing. I think that's remarkably amazing. So, I have a question for you right now. If there's a product or service that you're selling and you can't sell it, ask yourself this one question. Are you not able to sell the product because you're so busy trying to tell people why they should have it? But you don't actually spend time in talking about the problem it solves. That's the $1,000,000 question. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It's been another privilege, a pleasure, and honor to be with you this fantastic Wednesday evening. I hope you'll like, love, and support the channel. Definitely comment below. Tag your friends, colleagues, and associates. Share this out with everyone you know on social media. And then you know what, ladies and gentlemen? Be sure to click on that PayPal link and make the choice to buy my team and I a cup of coffee, a delicious hot chocolate, or perhaps a refreshing bowl of fruit. Either way, we'll be grateful for those pennies and dollars. We'll invest them into new hardware, new technology, new equipment, new software, even new facilities to give you the most jaw-dropping, motivational content to empower you to become a better version of yourself. I ask you this question right now. Are you tired of people telling you can't do things? Are you frustrated because you're so far away from your goals? Are you disappointed with yourself because you're not where you want to be? Are you making excuses to why you're not where you should be? Are you ready to make the changes so that you can live the life that you were meant to be? You know you are. Have yourself a great rest of your night. You know what? I'm going to see you tomorrow with more AVK and patterns. Then we'll be here on Friday. Watch some of these because AVK and language patterns, they're vital to your success. Have a good night, everyone.